Carl Jung once warned that the most dangerous truths are the ones we refuse to see. Perhaps the most uncomfortable of them all is this: women were never powerless. From the first myths of humanity, they've been painted as saints and demons, worshipped as mothers of life, cursed as chaos. Eve with the apple, Pandora with the box, Helen with the face that launched 1,000 ships. Was this weakness, or was it proof of something else? A force so invisible that men could only explain it through fear. Wars fought not for land, but for the attention of one woman. History tries to tell us men built the world, that kings and generals shaped the course of time. Yet look closer, look at the cracks in the surface, and you'll see something else. You'll see empires collapsing over a queen's influence. And here's the terrifying truth Jung understood. Women don't always take power by force. They don't need to. Their power works differently. Quietly, subtly, like gravity. You don't see it, but you feel it. You can't touch it, but it pulls you, bends you, breaks you if you resist too hard. This is why societies never stopped trying to disguise it. When women couldn't be controlled, they were glorified. When they couldn't be glorified, they were demonized. And when neither worked, they were silenced. And now we open the door to the truths you were never meant to notice. Think about it. Why do entire religions caution men against the temptation of women? Why do men joke about losing everything in divorce as if it's a law of nature? The truth is uncomfortable, not because women lack power, but because their power is everywhere. It's in the glance that weakens a man's resolve, in the silence that keeps him guessing, in the mystery that makes him chase what he can't fully have. And this is the part nobody wants to admit: men have spent centuries trying to master women. But it is women who have always mastered men, not with weapons, but with the mind. Power is usually imagined as something loud. Kings shouting commands, bosses giving orders, generals leading armies. But women's power? It works in silence. It doesn't march in the open. It seeps into the cracks of the mind. Jung saw this pattern clearly. Men's lives weren't driven purely by reason, but by unseen psychological forces. At the center of those forces was always a woman. Sometimes real, a mother, a lover, a rival. Sometimes imagined the idea of what a woman should be. Either way, she shaped his actions more than logic ever could. Here's the unsettling truth: men are rarely chasing women. They're chasing what women make them feel. Think about it. Why do men fight for a woman's attention? Not because she demanded it with force, but because her silence left him wondering. Her glance made him restless. Her mystery kept him awake at night. He isn't drawn to her body alone, he's drawn to the storm inside his own mind that she awakens. This is psychology at its rawest. Humans crave what they can't fully have. The brain assigns value to scarcity. The harder something is to attain, the more our desire inflates it. This is why women who remain a little unpredictable, a little out of reach, are often chased harder than those who give everything freely. It's the law of mystery. What is hidden controls more than what is revealed, and this power shows up everywhere. In relationships, the man who takes a woman for granted suddenly becomes obsessed the moment she pulls away. In the workplace, the female colleague who speaks less but with precision is respected more than the one who overshares. In society, the influencer who reveals pieces of her life, but not everything, becomes an object of endless fascination. Notice the pattern? It's not what's given that holds power, it's what's withheld. Psychologists call this reactance. When humans feel something is out of reach, we want it more. Women who understand this consciously or not wield a power most men can't resist. And yet men keep making the same mistake. They try to win women by chasing harder, by giving more, by overexposing themselves. They believe love is earned through effort, but effort without mystery doesn't inspire respect. It creates predictability, and predictability kills desire. This is the invisible battlefield Jung hinted at. The war is not fought with swords or words. It's fought in the shadows of perception. Women influence not by shouting, but by holding back. Not by demanding, but by suggesting. Not by chasing, but by being chased. And here's the terrifying twist: most men never realize it's happening. They believe they are in control, that they chose her, that they decided. But underneath, the psychology tells another story. It was her presence, her restraint, her mystery that guided his every move. This is not weakness. This is the most subtle, most dangerous form of power. And it's why Jung's warning still echoes today. What men don't understand is what controls them. Why would cultures praise women as goddesses on one hand, yet hunt them as demons on the other? Because deep down, men knew what they wouldn't admit out loud. Power that cannot be controlled will always be feared. A king can control his soldiers with force. A ruler can silence rebellion with armies. But how do you control desire? How do you command influence that doesn't shout, but whispers? This is why women's power has always been disguised, wrapped in poetry, smothered in romance, twisted into morality tales. Men called them muses when in truth, women were manipulating kings and artists alike. Men labeled them witches when in truth, they simply held knowledge society wasn't ready for. And here's where the paradox becomes even more fascinating. Men loved women, yet distrusted them. They married them, yet warned one another of their tricks. Philosophers praised women's beauty, then wrote essays about why women should never have power. Entire legal systems were built to contain what could not be destroyed: the influence of women over the minds of men. Fast forward to today, and the same paradox still exists. Look at celebrity culture. Female stars are idolized, praised for beauty, style, charisma. Yet the moment they step outside the script, they are attacked, shamed, torn apart by media. Look at Instagram. Women build empires through image and perception. They are followed, adored, envied, but behind every comment of praise, there's often another filled with suspicion, jealousy, or hate. The pattern hasn't changed. Society still doesn't know whether to worship women or to fear them. And this paradox is not weakness. It's the ultimate sign of power. Because nothing that is truly powerless inspires both worship and fear at the same time. Jung recognized it. Machiavelli hinted at it. And history has proven it. Women don't just exist inside the structures of power, they destabilize them. They are simultaneously crowned and condemned, loved and mistrusted, embraced and resisted. And here's the secret nobody talks about. This paradox isn't a flaw of history, it's the very weapon that gives women their deepest influence. The game has changed, but the rules remain the same. Today, women don't need kingdoms to wield power, they rule over perception. Take Instagram influencers. They don't command armies, but their followers will do anything to gain their approval. Why? They've mastered Law 4. Image is everything. A carefully crafted persona that reveals just enough keeps their power strong. Too much, and the allure fades. In dating, men obsess over women who are hard to reach. A woman who doesn't answer every text immediately plays Law 5. Scarcity increases value. The more unavailable she is, the more men want her. At work, the woman who holds her ground and demands respect, rather than seeking validation, often gets promoted. She embodies Law 3, respect before love, not because she's the most talented, but because she commands respect. Even celebrities shine not just because of talent, but because of their mysterious image. They reveal just enough to keep the public curious using Law 1. Mystery creates desire. The modern battlefield is fought in perception, not in the open. Women who understand these laws don't wait for power, they create it. Power belongs to those who control how they're seen, not to those who shout the loudest. Carl Jung warned that the most dangerous force is the one you can't see, the one shaping your life without your awareness. And for men, this invisible force has always been women's influence. Women don't need to scream, demand, or force their way to power. Their strength lies in shaping perception, being both muse and manipulator, adored and feared. The unsettling truth Jung uncovered is that men's lives are often shaped more by the women they encounter than by their own choices. The mother, the lover, the friend, all leave marks on a man's psyche, guiding his desires and decisions without him even realizing it. This isn't about dominance. It's about subtle influence, a silent current that moves men, shapes societies, and creates history unnoticed. Jung believed that the greatest danger for any man is not an enemy in the battlefield, but his own blindness to these hidden forces. A man who doesn't recognize the influence of the women in his life has already lost control. Women wield power not by demanding, but by making men believe they are choosing freely. And that's the danger. Men think they control their fate, but it's women's invisible influence that shapes it. By the time they realize, they're already caught in the web. Jung's warning, the greatest power is the power that goes unnoticed. Carl Jung once said, "The most terrifying thing is to accept oneself completely." But what if the most terrifying thing for a man is to realize the hidden influence women have over him? An influence so subtle, so profound, that he doesn't even see it coming. For centuries, men have thought they controlled their own destinies. They built empires, founded businesses, wrote laws, and shaped history. But behind all those decisions, there has always been an unseen force quietly shaping the course of their lives: the influence of women. And this influence isn't loud. It's not in the form of demands or open manipulation. It works through subtlety, through emotion, and most importantly, through perception. Jung understood something that many men still fail to grasp: attraction is not rational. It's driven by psychological forces that go far deeper than logic or reason, and the most powerful weapon in a woman's arsenal isn't her beauty, charm, or even her words. It's her ability to manipulate perception, to create an aura of intrigue and scarcity that makes a man feel as if he is always striving to obtain something he cannot fully possess. How does this work? It starts with mystery. Women have long known that what is hidden is always more powerful than what is visible. Desire thrives in the unknown. The less a man knows about a woman, the more his mind works to fill in the gaps, making him increasingly invested in the chase. Jung's concept of the anima, the unconscious, feminine part of every man, highlights this deeply ingrained need. Men are not simply attracted to women because of their external qualities. They are attracted to the mystery, to the symbolic representation of what a woman represents in the depths of their psyche. But mystery isn't the only weapon in a woman's arsenal. Perception is equally powerful. Jung observed that what men see is often more important than what they know. The man who perceives a woman as being out of reach or emotionally distant is far more likely to chase after her than the woman who is always available. Women instinctively know this, and they play into it not out of malice, but because it is part of the fabric of human attraction. The man who has to work for a woman's attention, respect, or affection values it more. This dynamic has existed for centuries, but in the modern age, it's even more powerful. The rise of social media and online dating has only amplified the psychological games women can play. A woman who curates her online image, who leaves just enough mystery in her posts and interactions, creates a perception of inaccessibility, and that makes her all the more desirable. Jung's warning to men was clear: don't underestimate the invisible forces at play. Women don't need to overtly assert control. They do it through their presence, through the way they shape how men perceive them. A man who doesn't recognize these subtle influences is already caught in their web, believing he's in control when, in reality, it's the woman who has the upper hand. So the question for every man is this: can you see the forces at play? The answer lies in understanding the invisible power of attraction and recognizing that, for all the strength a man may have, his deepest desires may already be quietly shaped by the woman he seeks to control. Now you understand the unsettling truth about power, how women's influence has always shaped men, often without them even realizing it. This is the invisible force that has guided empires, relationships, and the course of history. So what do you do with this knowledge? The first step is understanding the game. The second, playing it. If this opened your eyes, hit like and subscribe for more insights into the hidden dynamics of power, manipulation, and influence. Comment below with your thoughts. How have you seen these laws of female power at work in your own life? Because once you understand this truth, you can never be played the same way again.